enlightening,
Terrifying?
Challenging.
Shocking.
Diverse. Open-ended?
It's a hindrance.
Unpredictable behavior.
It's a disaster.
Colorful.
psychedelic.
Difficult, and only because of my struggles and that I'm currently going through, so it's hard to put it into one word, but at this moment it would be difficult.
She doesn't turn 21 and all of a sudden everything's good, so it's a little scary.
Most people don't know that when you turn 21, the school system and the government, everybody says, thank you very much, now go home and figure it out for yourself.
Oh, everything changes. The safety net that you had of them going to a school and being educated is over. You had services galore.
There is no real program for children after 21 years old.
21 is a very hard year. You realize that education is done. Your relationship with your child's study team, whether good or bad, is gone. And you are on your own trying to navigate the adult system.
It's an arbitrary cutoff for the entitlements that they've had in the past. And it's a huge demand on families to fill in the gaps. The post-21 life is more about parents have to step up and create it. We're going to have to do a whole lot more than we've already been doing to give our children full lives. And I'm ready for the challenge.
I fear that, I just don't want him sitting at home, rotting in front of the TV in a computer game. I want him out there interacting with people and in the community and doing something and helping and working the way everyone else does.
The only fears that I have about my brother's future is that once he has a job, I'm sure that he'll get a job at one point in his life, that those of people with power either the same or higher than his will take advantage of him.
Me and my husband, we worried and we are afraid what's going to happen after we die, because Ryan need supervision the rest of his life.
There's always that fear, I don't know, especially, it shouldn't be any different between boys and girls, but I do have a fear of, just being in a new situation, new people. There are so many things that can happen that go wrong with any type of situation, with any type of child or person. So it's a little, on the back of my mind.
I'm scared. I'm scared for him, where he's going to be, if he's going to be safe.
My biggest fear probably is that he won't have a safe place to go to in the future, that there won't be the residences that are needed, that I'll die and there won't be somebody who cares about him.
People think of, I guess, the movie Rain Man, and that there's only one type of autism, that you don't realize now that it's called ASD, Autism Spectrum Disorder, that it's a spectrum. So you can have a very high functioning person, and then you could have somebody who may be nonverbal. And then you have everything in between, that you might have some verbal issues and not so much social issues.
There is no limit for them. They can do, they can learn, and they can do well as any other kid with the right education.
Most people think people with autism can't relate to people, but they can. in their unique ways.
You know, what it really comes down to is they're people. You know, they're human beings. They deserve to be treated like that. They deserve to be treated the way people would want to be treated themselves. And I think a lot of times that's not the case.
Very productive individual because he has so many skills. Like he's very good in computer. He might be very good in data entry. He's very good in organizing. Anything you train him, he can do very well.
I describe myself as responsible, hardworking, and very independent.
Because he does have feelings, and he needs acceptance for as he gets older. And they need to understand that Corey can do, and he can do for himself. But you just have to guide him along. Once you show him a couple of times, he gets it.
They're all so different and unique and special in their own way. They're not the same. That's the other thing I'd like to make people to know. Just because you have autism doesn't mean you're the same as somebody else that has autism.
I mean, people with autism, they surprise me every day. My son is amazing to me, and he's always been amazing. I mean, since the time that I saw that he was interested in tying his shoe when he was like 4 years old. And I started to teach him, and he started to do it very quickly. And he knocks my socks off. He continually surprises me with how he's able to learn.
I think it really affects everybody in the community. They might not think it affects them, but I think it does. They live in the community. They might be working in the community eventually. They go to school in the community. They go to community events. They go to the pool, the local pools and Y's, and they're citizens like everybody else.
That, you know, these kids can do things for the community too. That they can be involved in the community. Some people they think that you know, because they have autism they cannot do anything, and they could. They can do a lot of things.
Oh, there's so many reasons. Because they're people. Because they are part of your community. Because they have so much to offer. Because we are so far away from being secluded and keeping people in boxes and keeping people under wraps. That's old-time thinking, and we don't do that anymore. And we don't think it should be done. They deserve a full life, like all of us.
It's called embracing diversity, and that's what life is. Everybody is entitled to a full life. Everybody, because you have autism or you are disabled in any other way doesn't mean you're any less than anybody else. And in fact, you can be quite fabulous with a disability, so why not embrace it?
But gradually, as time has gone by and more families are being affected of all cultures, they're accepting this, that something has to be done. And I think within 10 years from now, we'll see a big difference. But we need it right now.
As these children are now into adults, that more and more programs are forming for them, that their need is out there, and more organizations are realizing that just because they got their diploma at 21 doesn't mean that they still don't need adequate services for them.
I'm optimistic about my own son. I'm optimistic about some of the individuals I work with who are on the spectrum too. Like I said, they surprise me every day. They're a joy. They give back so much more than they take, but most people don't understand that. But when you live with them And when you work with them, you see what kind of joy comes out of them. And to be part of that is pretty amazing.
According to the Center for Disease Control, in 1999, 1 in 500 children were diagnosed with autism. In 2002, 1 in 150. In 2006, 1 in 110. Since 2008, approximately 1 in 88 children have been identified with autism. If this ever-increasing segment of our society is to have a productive future, we need to continue to provide adequate structure, extended education, supported residential group homes, transportation, and seamless physical and emotional support. Even if we think we are not affected by autism, we are or will be, due to the epidemic rise of this disorder. We should all care about the future of people living with autism.